Also coming up, North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum pulls out the veto pen for a couple of high-profile topics talked about all across the state.
And why former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin will have little, if any, contact with fellow prisoners in Minnesota's maximum security facility. But first, some breaking news from overnight. Firefighters are looking for the cause of a fire behind someone's house in Harwood. They got the call about 10:30 last night for flames behind a home on Lind Circle, which is just north of the Harwood Elementary School.
One of our viewers took these pictures and says it was quite an active scene for about an hour. Officials did not have a lot of information for us, only that no one was hurt. They're still looking for the cause of that fire. A man is being treated for injuries after being hit by a car going highway speed on I-94 in Fargo. It happened around 9 last night in the westbound lanes near the I-29 turnoff.
The North Dakota Highway Patrol says the driver of an SUV tried braking and swerving to avoid the man who ran out in front of her vehicle. There's no condition report yet on that 29-year-old man from Fargo who was hit by the vehicle. North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum is vetoing a transgender sports ban bill. That bill would have banned anyone under 18 from playing on a gendered sports team that doesn't match their birth certificate. The governor says North Dakota has a level playing field and fairness in girls' sports, and he says there is no evidence to suggest that it's in danger. Burgum could see his veto challenged, though, by lawmakers. The bill passed the House with enough votes to override a veto.
Burgum has also vetoed the controversial anti-mask mandate bill. The topic attracted a lot of attention, including a rally on the state capitol steps. It would have prohibited the governor or state health officer from issuing a face mask mandate. Burgum says state law assigns him the responsibility to minimize or avoid the adverse effects of a disaster or emergency. Plus, the state health officer is responsible for issuing orders deemed necessary to prevent the spread of communicable diseases. Planned Parenthood is holding a rally today that it calls a Rally for Academic Freedom. It starts at 3:30 this afternoon on the south side of the NDSU Student Union. Faculty members and a student are planning to speak.
State lawmakers are considering a bill that prevents NDSU from funneling federal grant money to Planned Parenthood for sex education in the state. If passed, it could mean a $2.8 million blow to the school. NDSU President Dean Bershani has said that he won't bow to political pressures. Starting this morning, northbound and southbound I-29 will be reduced to one lane of traffic south of exit 54.
North Dakota DOT contractors are repairing the Wild Rice River Bridge. The project is expected to be finished by late July.
It is now 9 minutes before the top of the hour. A good day to get outside and do some work out there. We get a check of your forecast on this Earth Day with Lisa Green. Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning. Happy Earth Day. We've got beautiful weather for doing some cleanup outdoors and conditions that are going to be nice and mild as well. Finally warming back up to average today. It's funny how this is going to feel good, but that's where we're at. We're looking at 61 for your high in Fargo, sunny skies and wind. That's going to be the one issue here today. We're talking about wind out of the southwest, 10 to 20 miles per hour with some gusts to 30 miles per hour. It's a drier wind moving in, and we're still seeing a lot of areas that are very dry. And so conditions are going to be right for the potential for some fire danger here today. And we do have a red flag warning that is in effect for us starting at noon until 8 o'clock tonight. That's right when we see some of our lowest humidities, our warmest temperatures, and when the wind will be strongest too. It covers most of the valley here, and even if you're not included in it, I would just be careful and just not burn anyway here today if you had some plans to do so. Conditions favorable for the start and spread of wildfires. That's the definition of a red flag warning in case that's new to you. And fire conditions can develop pretty quickly and spread very quickly because of these three factors. The dry conditions, that dead vegetation still out there. We've got the dry air and that wind picking up. Not too strong, but just enough to lead to some issues. This morning, though, a nice quiet start to the day. Temperatures are near freezing, some of us above, some below. We're at 34 in Fargo, 33 in Grand Forks. The wind, not too much of a problem just yet. It's up to 12 miles per hour in most areas. You can see we've got a stronger gust coming off the Sisseton Hills there. And your bus stop planner this morning, we'll watch as temperatures rise pretty quickly. Maybe a little cool for the kids this morning at the bus stop, but heading home from school, again, we're looking at some 50s to some low 60s. So a nice Earth Day ahead.
Looking great. Thank you, Lisa. Convicted murderer Derek Chauvin is being segregated in a maximum prison for his safety. Officials say he's at the Oak Park Heights Correctional Facility near Stillwater and will be there until his June sentencing for the death of George Floyd. Chauvin was convicted Tuesday of second and third degree murder and manslaughter.
State sentencing guidelines call for 12.5 years in prison for each of the murder charges, but the judge could decide that there were aggravating factors which could increase Chauvin's sentence up to 40 years. Members of George Floyd's family will be among those attending today's funeral of 20-year-old Dante Wright, who was shot and killed by a police officer in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota.
It's said that the officer, Kimberly Potter, mistook her gun for a taser. She's been charged with manslaughter in Wright's death. Unrest and turmoil have become the new norm for people in law enforcement. The impacts of the Derek Chauvin murder case are only just starting to be looked at.
The case is a significant reminder of how dangerous the job can be for those who wear the badge.
It didn't really alter my decision in any way. I think that the community has a right to have high expectations of the police department, and so I wanted to be able to provide that for my community as well.
Officer Schobinger went through the academy when protests were erupting nationwide over George Floyd's death. She's now been with the Fargo Police Department for 9 months.
Investigators say they have found video of a 3-alarm fire in downtown Fargo on an arson suspect's phone. They say 18-year-old Riley Keeping and 2 friends went to the former Mid-America Steel building to explore. Keeping is now charged with conspiracy to commit arson for that March 22nd fire.
The other 2 people of interest are juveniles. Investigators found a 2-second video of a fire in an abandoned office on one of the juveniles' phones. Keeping is currently awaiting extradition from Colorado. A woman is now behind bars accused of using tequila and a lighter to start a fire at a Fargo hotel. Police say Britt Kalberg initially denied being in the hotel room where the fire started, but later changed her story.
Officers say that she said she believed someone was holding her children hostage and that something told her to start the fire at the hotel so that firefighters could then save her children. That fire broke out at the Grand Inn Hotel just before 5 Saturday morning. Damage was estimated at $25,000. The Detroit Lake School Board has voted not to renew the contracts of 14 teachers in the district, and parents are now reacting.
The decision was made during Monday's school board meeting. According to the superintendent, Mark Jensen, declining enrollment played a part in the decision. The district is down 250 students this year, which amounts to a loss of $1.5 million in funding. The superintendent also says the pandemic may have contributed to the reduction in student enrollment, as many parents have turned to online classes or homeschooling.
Of the staff being cut, 4 are special education teachers. The superintendent says that students will not see any changes to their programming. A video on the popular app TikTok is sparking concern among parents who are worried about the content and who their children are interacting with online. TikTok users claim that a group of 6 men created a video encouraging others to commit sexual assault on April 24th.
TikTok says there's no evidence that that video ever existed, but local police are still reminding parents to check in with their kids and check their devices. Have them turn off their location sharing and make sure all of their accounts are private, because you never know who could be looking at their TikTok videos or Snapchat pictures. We all want a clean neighborhood and community, and you can help make it that way, especially today on this Earth Day.
And the Valley Today's Brian Sherrod, he joins us live with the details on the many ways that you can pitch in and help make a cleaner community. Good morning, Brian.
And good morning, Jordan and Lisa. What I can tell you is I'm outside of the Fargo Cast Public House parking lot, and that's just one of 24 places you can find these kind of recycle bins. This one's for cans and aluminum. I have one next to me that's for glass, and the one right of me is for the aluminum cans as well. It's simple because there are different ways for you to split that up and to put them into different containers as needed. Now, letting you know that when you put these into containers, they get converted to different items that are reused. Now, every time you recycle, it keeps it out of the landfill. Other items to recycle include magazines, glass, and office paper. Glass and aluminum are melted down into new bottles. Recycled newspapers are turned into pencils. Tires can be grounded up to be used for padding, and that's to be used for your playgrounds and for your landscaping. Now, education should start with elementary school students.
Starting with the younger generations is great because they, are absorbing a lot of information at a young age, and a lot of times that comes home, and then, they might start asking their parents, "Why don't we recycle, Mom?" And then Mom might not have an answer, And then that would be a great excuse to start recycling.
So recycling for residents is picked up every other week. Have it out next to garbage can by 8 in the morning, and also space the recycling from the garbage can to give the truck arm room to grab it. Now, Fargo Recycling collects about 5,000 tons of trash yearly, and this is compared to the 1,200 collected back in 2017, so that's tripled. So if you go to valleynewslive.com, I did put the different collection centers, so one's kind of like this one at Fargo Cast Public Health. The 24 places are there, and also letting you know the times and dates are there as well.
Brian Sherrod reporting live for us. Thank you. Let's get our answer now to our question of the morning on Facebook. Today's question: the average person does this in 7 minutes.
The answer is fall asleep. Remember, you can play along every day. The Today Show and CBS This Morning are just about to start, but the Valley today, it rolls on. We'll have more live up-to-the-minute news and weather for you on the CW.